A mechanic told me something I wasn't supposed to hear. He said, and I'm quoting, "If American drivers did what Japanese drivers do, I'd lose 30% of my business." He wasn't joking. The cars are identical. The parts are identical. But Japanese owners follow 5 rules that most Americans have never even heard of. Those 5 rules are the difference between a car that dies at 160,000 miles and one that's still running clean at 280,000. Let's start with the one that kills more Japanese engines in America than anything else. Japanese engineers designed their engines with something called thermal expansion in mind. Cold metal and hot metal behave completely differently. When you start your car on a cold morning and drive hard immediately, your engine oil hasn't fully circulated yet. Metal is grinding against metal with almost no protection. Your engine wears more in the first 90 seconds of a cold start than it does in 50 miles of highway driving. Japanese drivers know this. They let the car idle for 60 to 90 seconds before touching the accelerator. That's it. That one habit alone reduces upper engine wear by 40%. Your dealership will never tell you this because worn engines mean more business. This isn't in your owner's manual either, but every mechanic in Osaka knows it. Call this one the cold start kill. You're doing it every single morning and you don't even know it. But that's nothing compared to what's coming next. Here's a question. Do you know what fuel grade your car actually needs, not what the sticker says, but what the engine was designed to run on? Most Americans pump regular 87 octane into everything. Japanese drivers are obsessive about fuel quality, and there's a reason. Low-grade fuel causes something called pre-ignition, tiny uncontrolled explosions inside your cylinders that happen before the spark plug fires. You can't hear it, you can't feel it, but over 60,000 miles it erodes your piston heads and destroys your injectors. Replacing one injector runs you $250 to $350. A full set is closer to $1,400. Switching to top-tier certified gasoline, which costs about 3 cents more per gallon, prevents almost all of it. That's roughly $18 extra per year to avoid a $1,400 repair. Japanese drivers don't debate this. They treat fuel quality like they treat food quality. You wouldn't eat junk every day and expect to live to 90. Your engine works the same way. Now this one genuinely shocked me when I first heard it. Most American drivers change their oil every 5,000 to 7,500 miles and think they're done. Japanese drivers change their oil on a strict schedule, but they also do something else. They check their oil level every single month. Not every service, every month. Takes 30 seconds. Costs nothing. Here's why it matters. A Japanese Toyota or Honda burns about a quarter quart of oil every 3,000 miles under normal conditions. That's normal. That's by design. But if nobody checks, the level drops. And an engine running on low oil generates heat at 3 times the normal rate. That heat is what cracks gaskets. That heat is what warps cylinder heads. A single head gasket repair, just one, runs between $1,500 and $2,000 at a dealership. One monthly check prevents it. Your mechanic knows this. He's hoping you don't. Number 4 is the one that shocked me most. I've seen this save customers from repairs they couldn't afford. There's a system in Japan called Shaken, a mandatory vehicle inspection every 2 years that is brutally thorough. It covers 250 individual checkpoints. It costs drivers the equivalent of $1,000 to $1,500 every inspection cycle. It sounds extreme, but what it actually does is force Japanese owners to think about their car the way a pilot thinks about a plane, proactively, not reactively. American drivers fix things when they break. Japanese drivers fix things before they break. You don't need Shaken to adopt this mindset. What you need is a $0 habit. Every 6 months, not every service, every 6 months, get under your car and look. Check for rust forming on your brake lines. Check your rubber boots on your CV axles. Check your serpentine belt for cracking. These parts don't fail suddenly. They fail slowly, visibly, and predictably. A cracked serpentine belt costs $120 to replace. If it snaps while you're driving, you're looking at $800 to $1,200 minimum. Because now you've got a stranded car and potential water pump damage on top of it. Catch it early and the repair is trivial. Miss it and you're calling a tow truck. And here is where it gets really interesting. This next one, this is the big one. This is the tip that mechanic was actually talking about when he said he'd lose 30% of his business. I saved the most important one for last. Right after this, transmission fluid. Nobody talks about it. Nobody changes it. In a survey of 2,000 American car owners, 63% said they had never changed their transmission fluid, ever. Japanese drivers change it every 30,000 to 40,000 miles without fail. Here's what happens when you don't. Transmission fluid breaks down over time. It loses its viscosity, its ability to properly lubricate the clutch packs and gears inside your transmission. Old fluid also becomes abrasive. It starts to eat the very components it's supposed to protect. By 80,000 miles, a transmission running on original fluid is operating with fluid that has the protective quality of dirty water. A transmission flush costs $100 to $150. A transmission replacement costs $3,500 to $5,000. I have personally watched people pay $4,800 to replace a transmission on a car worth $6,000. A repair that a $120 fluid change every few years would have prevented entirely. Japanese drivers don't touch that number because they never reach it. You now know what they know. And the last one is the simplest, but don't underestimate it. Tire pressure, not monthly, weekly on any trip over 50 miles. Japanese roads have strict safety standards, but Japanese drivers don't rely on those standards alone. They check tire pressure before long drives. Underinflated tires, even just 4 psi below spec, increase your rolling resistance by 1.5%. That translates to roughly 3% worse fuel economy on a car that gets 30 miles per gallon over 15,000 miles per year. That's about $120 wasted on fuel alone. Add to that the uneven tread wear, which shortens tire life by up to 25%. A set of mid-range tires runs $600 to $800. You're burning $150 to $200 worth of tire life every year from low pressure. A gas station air pump fixes it in 4 minutes. Here's a quick recap. 1. Let your engine idle 60 to 90 seconds on cold starts. 2. Use top-tier certified fuel. 3. Check your oil level every month, not just every service. 4. Adopt the shaken mindset and inspect your car proactively every 6 months. 5. Change your transmission fluid every 30,000 to 40,000 miles. 6. Check tire pressure before every long drive. These 6 habits are why the same car lasts 280,000 miles in Japan and 160,000 miles in America. It was never the car. It was always the owner. One question for you in the comments: which of these 6 are you actually doing right now? Be honest. I read every reply. If this saved you money, subscribe. I post tips like this every week. Things your dealership knows but will never tell you.